So many of the major companies within the video game industry have only hired people based on a checklist. They're not hiring individuals based on their merits and their true talents. They are just hiring people they think they can gain some social points for. And that means that when there are layoffs and game cancellations and people get fired, these people are also losing their jobs. And apparently now that's a hate crime because there are so many activists within the industry freaking out over the fact that the EA Saudi deal went through, saying gay stuff is out and this is absolutely terrible, that so many diverse people are gonna lose their jobs. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I think the best person for the job should get the job. I don't care about your gender or your sexuality. I care about the work that you can do, but that's not the mentality of all of these major companies. And now that the EA Saudi deal has gone through, a lot of people are melting down because, first of all, Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, is a part of this. The Saudis, of course, are a part of it. And we're really wondering how EA is now going to be ran and what games they're going to greenlight. But one would assume that because there's $20 billion worth of debt that these companies are now picking up, that EA is going to be ran quite differently. Maybe that means people are going to get fired and AI is going to replace some of them and pick up some of the slack. Maybe a lot of the upcoming games are going to be canceled. Either way, this has led to a lot of meltdowns, and now PC Gamer has done like an article that people are pointing and laughing at. We see some industry veterans talking about how there are devs coming to them saying, oh my gosh, this is an FU to women and LGBTQ employees. Oh my gosh, the meltdowns are glorious. So let's start off with this PC Gamer article. The headline they went with was former BioWare lead writer reads the runes on EA Saudi deal and speculates that guns and football are in, gay stuff is out, and the venerable RPG studio may be for the chop. Oh no, guys, we might actually see some good change in the industry. I mean, this is not the win that they really thought it was going to be. First of all, while I'm not the biggest fan of like football games, right, and I do love some gun games like Call of Duty and Battlefield and whatnot, I get that they're saying that they're mad that masculinity is back and soyness is out. I personally am all for masculinity making a return. Hot women, guns, action. Those were the glorious days of the video game industry, and we could actually see some good content again, but they're mad that, of course, the quote, gay stuff is out. And I say this all the time, you can do storylines in entertainment where there happen to be gay characters and they're really well done, like Knights of the Old Republic, for example. I love Juhani, I love KOTOR. It truly is a diverse game, but it's not so in your face that they're beating you over the head with a narrative and a viewpoint, and that's why it's such a legendary game. And if we actually saw BioWare going back to those days and actually making that amazing level of content, they wouldn't be in this pickle. And BioWare is a shell of the company they once were. I personally wouldn't shed a tear for modern BioWare going under, though these people are really, really mad at this point. So, of course, this was a post that was initially made to Blue Sky by Trick Weeks, the blue-haired SJW who is now unemployed, but had worked on games like Veilguard and Andromeda and Anthem. But he said, buyers, so your games, guns and football, yes? EA, mostly guns and football. Yep, buyers, no gay stuff, no politics we're not going to like. EA, haha, definitely not. Hey, could you give me 1 sec? I just need to shut down a studio real quick. Okay, so you're saying EA's actually going to give people what they want again. They're not going to allow their developers to beat us over the head with the narrative. They're actually going to force their developers into making half-decent content. Like, my biggest worry with this deal right now is monetization. I truly believe that while yes, maybe there's a chance this could be good, we could also see their games monetized to hell and back. And that would truly be the end of EA because, sure, while they would initially make quite a bit of money, people would get sick and tired of that over a long period of time. But EA's trash. I mean, EA's already at the bottom of the barrel, but the way that PC Gamer frames this is like people are going to be crying over the fact that a BioWare could go under. I'm sorry, I'm not that sad. And if they disappeared tomorrow, I really wouldn't shed a tear because what do they really have that is still alive at this point? They were hoping that Dragon Age was going to stay alive. They killed that off. Mass Effect, I personally think they killed off with Andromeda. Maybe the next Mass Effect game will be half decent, but again, I have absolutely no trust or faith in that. Anthem didn't turn out to be big for them, so the new franchise they were hoping to bank on for several years is dead. Like, what do they have at this point that is actually decent? Stephen Totillo also had written up this article talking about how one of the world's biggest video game companies plans to sell to some of the world's most powerful people, and they have a section in here where they talk about like developers' reactions. And I wrote about the EA deal and spoke to some current EA workers to get their takes. And the two he highlights is, I'm nervous. Layoffs usually follow these types of acquisitions. Yeah, and if you are actually good at your job, they'll keep you around. And if the project that you're working on seems like it's going to turn out to make them money, they're not going to cancel that. Get good, scrubs. And then they have a quote that says Andrew Wilson basically said, F you to all the women and LGBTQ employees at EA with this deal. This is the problem that studios and companies find themselves in the middle of now. When you are only hiring based on a checklist and to fulfill DEI commitments, if your studio is 95% diverse people, right, LGBTQ plus and women and all these different things, you then are basically committing a hate crime and you are the scum of the earth for firing them because these people truly feel like they are the most oppressed, and so they're always looking for ways to trash individuals who are not giving them the world. And that's what's happening now, because when you are firing people and laying them off, that is a crime against the diverse crowd. And I just don't know if these people don't understand the fact that they are, at the end of the day, simply employees, or if they really believe that these companies cared. But that is a brain dead take. Companies don't care about you and your sexuality. Companies don't care about your gender. Companies don't care about your identity. Companies don't care about your families. Companies don't care about your rent. Companies simply care that you are doing work that is going to make them money. And when that isn't the case, of course they're going to drop you like a rock. It's crazy to think that there are people out there that truly believe companies give a fuck when, of course, they don't. And people are kind of laughing at this. Do you genuinely believe that people who have not released good products deserve to keep working? I'm having a hard time finding any reason to be sympathetic to the key jingling moral busybody. So what you're saying is less LGBTQ hacktivism in gaming and people who actually want to make games good again. I voted for this. Welcome home. You mean no more angry feminists and trans lunatics? And again, I think that anybody could make a good game. The problem is that a lot of these people are activists and they can't leave their politics at the door when they go to work. And I don't expect only like conservatives or libertarians to be making good products. I also expect left-leaning people to be able to make good entertainment, but these individuals have to come to the conclusion that they can't force their identity into everything they work on because it just leads to failure. You have pronouns in your bio. Yeah, Stephen Totillo is somebody who's been in the industry for decades at this point, about 20 years, and he previously worked at Kotaku as editor-in-chief, Axios, MTV, and he's definitely somebody who would agree with this opinion, which is why, of course, he's putting up an article on it and really highlighting it, trying to bring light to it. EA will finally be able to focus on giving gamers what they want. Saudi's style of management is exactly what gaming needs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is extremely positive news because we don't know how this is going to turn out. We don't know what games are going to be greenlit and if it truly is just going to be iteration after iteration of 3 Maddens a year that are going to be disgustingly monetized, or if maybe they are going to have some pretty tight management and people are going to be running the show who actually are focused on getting this business back in track. $20 billion worth of debt is a lot to be picking up. I, of course, will be covering this in the future, though we are seeing some major meltdowns in the industry already at this news because people feel like this is a big F you to women and LGBTQ plus individuals, and guns and football are in and gay stuff is out. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.